Alright guys, welcome to the video today. So in this video, I wanted to talk about something that I like to call sniper syndrome. I'm sure probably a lot of you are wondering right now what sniper syndrome is, because it's not really a publicly used term. It's just kind of something I coined. And I called it as I saw it about a year ago. Not a teammate of mine, but we used to play sweaty sixes all the time, and a person named the Bad BK was a really good sniper. He also had a good primary, and he was doing really well. Like, he was dropping 25, 26 kills a game, and at that point in time, most of his kills were sniper kills. He would get like probably around 8 to 9, maybe 10, 11 of them, but he wasn't exclusively using his sniper. Like, in situations where he had to use a last word, he'd pull out his last word. But recently, or not recently, over time, what happened is, as his snipes got better and better, he wanted to keep using his sniper exclusively, and all he wanted to do is quickscope people when they're like 5 feet in front of him. And if you're going for like montage clips, or you're just playing for fun, you know, kind of having a good time with it, trying to hit people with nasty little quickscopes when they're like 2 feet away from you, then that's fine, and it's going to work out, and you eventually are going to hit people with those sorts of snipes. But as far as like an overall gameplay thing, it's really difficult to kind of form a play style around that because of how inconsistent it is. I kind of found that I went through this a few times, and it's a lot harder when you're not playing on a blade dancer, because if you're on a blade dancer, you can quick scope a shot or shoot a shot and then quickly pull out your primary. But if you're aimed in, like for example, I have snapshot on my LDR and I don't have quick draw on it. If you're kind of wondering what that means, is quick draw was not a perk that had the nerf applied to it as far as like a decrease in ADS speed on sniper rifles. The main nerf was on snapshot, so quick draw switches to the weapon faster and aims in faster. So if you have either quick draw, the perk in the blade dancer subclass tree, or you just have it on your sniper, usually you're at a big advantage, and sometimes you can get away with shooting a shot and then pulling out your primary. But a lot of times, if you're using just a regular sniper, or maybe a sniper with snapshot, if you try to do this, a lot of times you're not going to be able to aim in fast enough, you're going to miss your shot, and then you're not going to even have the time to pull out your primary before you're dead. And if you're playing a map like Firebase, Exodus Blue, Burning Shrine, most of the time you're going to want to put a very strong emphasis and a very strong priority on using your primary, because I found that if I tell myself at the very beginning of the game, only use your primary, I'm going to use it in every situation I have to. I'm going to check lanes, obviously, with sniper rifles, and I'm going to get picks that way. And it's kind of easier, I guess, when you're playing against another sniper, because you can always count on at least one person to be looking at a lane. Of course, against really good teams, if you try to primary your sniper against a team that knows how to stay out of sniper lanes, it's going to end up going even worse for you. I actually specifically remember about 8 or 9 months ago, we had the first ever tournament since Taken King came out, and I was using the rifled barrel questline 1000 yard stare for most of the tournament, and I was doing really well with it. But when I came to the finals and I played Lumi, Anbu, and OTF, they knew to stay out of the sniper lanes. And although I did well and I actually went positive, I think, in the majority of the games, I had to pull out a shotty after a while. I believe there's a elimination portion of the tournament, so we got eliminated one portion, and then I think I sniped for the second one. But what happened is that we lost the first 3 games, and I was doing decent, but I literally got 0 sniper kills because they would not peek a lane, and if they did, they had an armor piercing rounds or high caliber rounds pulse rifle out. So it was pretty much impossible for me to snipe them, A, because of how they're playing, and B, because of the weapons they're using. But as soon as I switched to blade dancer in the very last game, I went from getting 0 to maybe 1 kills with a sniper per game, and I think I got around like 6 or 7. But it's just really hard if you're trying to like primary your sniper or use your sniper a lot if you can't aim in fast enough when you're playing against these super strong teams. So you can definitely get used to it, and if you have a sniper that's maybe easier to aim with, but it just doesn't aim in fast enough, a lot of people can get used to that and still do really well with it. But personally, I would always recommend going for a sniper that has either quick draw or snapshot on it. Put a very strong emphasis on using your primary when you're on maps like Rusted Lands. Maybe switch to a Thorn on Rusted Lands. There's just a lot of maps that you might think would be bad or good for sniping that actually end up being the opposite. For example, Anomaly originally felt really good for sniping when I was on a blade dancer, but for some odd reason I really don't enjoy sniping when I'm using a warlock. I'm not quite sure, but I really like Asylum, I really like Exodus Blue, and I really like Cauldron. Out of all things, Burning Shrine can be kind of iffy. It depends. If they have a sniper on their team, obviously they're gonna at least have one person peeking lanes, but it can definitely kind of just come down to how the enemy plays. That's just kind of my take on it. So as a result, as kind of a summary, just make sure that you don't have your sniper out the whole entire time, because even if you do get kills with it, chances are your shots are going to become twitchy, they're going to become very inaccurate, and your primary is going to see very little and very minimum use, which can be in general a detriment to your game and a detriment to your team, because if you're hard scoping the whole game, yes, you might get a few kills, but that leaves your other two teammates alone. And the main reason that double sniper is not the meta in Sweaties is because of how you play with a sniper. A lot of people are inclined to just hard scope when they're sniping, and if you have two snipers that are aggressive and they're using their primary, they're sliding around with last word as well as sniping aggressively, it can work out really well, especially on bigger maps. But if you have two people that are in their scopes half the game, that's when teammates or teamwork rather kind of falls apart, and that's why a double sniper in general is not commonly seen in tournaments and in Sweaties in general. I personally have had a lot of issues playing with double snipers on my team, and I just wouldn't recommend it to anyone that's trying to get better or that's trying to improve as it. Before I end the video today, I wanted to make a quick announcement. If you guys were unaware, I have a partnership or an affiliation with Kontrol Freek. What they do is they make controller joystick extensions that extend the life of your controller as well as improving aim. It basically, I believe, widens the range of motion. Basically, you can be a lot more precise with them, and a lot of top players use them. And the main thing for me, if you're a PlayStation player, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. It improves the life of your controller because it's covering up the original joysticks. That way, your joysticks on your actual PS4 controller won't wear down. And a lot of times in like 6 months of playing, your controller will turn completely plastic and the joysticks will be gone. So I've had my Kontrol Freeks for over a year and they're still usable and they've not really worn down much at all. And then the next thing, by the way, I do have a discount code for Kontrol Freek. It's the same as my YouTube. I'll put a link and more info on that in the description, as well as I have a Twitch channel. All the gameplay you saw today on this video, I streamed it live on Twitch. So if you want to check that out, it's SirDimetrious YT. Same as my YouTube, except for with the YT added at the end. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.